So when you open Terrasync, you'll see there's two little plugs. That's trying to connect to my internal GPS of this device. And once it connects, you'll see the little satellite icon and the number of satellites you're tracking at the moment. So I'm not tracking anything yet. If you use this device for the first time, you'll see it might take about 5 or 10 minutes before it starts tracking satellites. So just leave it outside. Make sure you have nice open sky above you. You're not underneath trees or next to big buildings and those sort of things that can block satellites. Make sure you open, and then you'll see, there we go. I'm starting to track satellites. I've got 4 at the moment. You can see on your sky plot more or less where they are and more or less your accuracy. You can see it's coming down 23 meters, 22. So the more satellites you start to track, you'll see your accuracy will get better with time. So in Terrasync, you've got these menus. If I click on the top here, you have these 5 basic menus in Terrasync. So it will always open under status, and underneath this menu, if you're in status, you'll see at the bottom there's other menus that you can access for the status. Then this is your other menus. I'm not going to go into that now. I'm just going to take you to, if I click on status, I'm going to go to setup. Just to show you, setup is all your settings in Terrasync. Just to take you through the basic settings that you might want to go and change in Terrasync. So once you've changed this, you'll never have to go in here again and change it every day. Once you've set it to these settings, then it will stay like this unless you go and change it yourself. So the first one, I'm just going to go into logging settings. You'll notice that you've got this keypad on Terrasync or on your device. You can access it by clicking on this little keyboard icon. So if I click on it, it will take it away. If I click on it again, it brings it up. So I'm just going to take you through some of the basic settings here. The first one, your accuracy settings. This is just a display for this 2 little arrows here you see on the top. So it shows me my horizontal accuracy, and it shows me in the field. In the field meaning unprocessed data. So you can change this display if you want. So normally you always want to see your horizontal accuracy and not your vertical. So your horizontal accuracy, that's it at the moment. And if you change this to processed, post-processed, meaning that it's going to show the accuracy that it thinks it's going to be after you post-processed your data with a base that you've downloaded base data in Pathfinder Office. So it's an estimate. It's not 100% what it will be. It's just an estimate. That's what it think it's going to be. And you choose how far is your base station from you that you're working from that day, and it will estimate that is the accuracy that it might be getting. This use accuracy base logging. If you switch this on, you can also say you can apply that for all the features, or just just a certain feature, the point or the line and area. But if you apply it for all features, then you can type in the required accuracy. So you can change this, say, depends on your device as well. So you can click on 1 meter, then it won't log any data if the accuracy is above 1 meter. But like I said, it depends on your device. If you have a Juno, then if you put it on 1 meter, you're going to stand there for the whole day. It won't reach the accuracy below 1 meter, because that's not how the Juno was designed. The Juno is between 3 and 5 meters. So this is just when you require a certain type of accuracy. I'm just going to leave this on 10 meters because I am using a Juno. And then when you're finished with your settings, then you say done. Okay, so you'll see I've put this on post-process now, so it won't show me my accuracy unless I open a file. So I'm just going to take this off and say just show me the accuracies in the field. Okay, and this accuracy based logging, I'm going to switch this off as well, because like I said, I'm using a Juno and I'm not requiring to get a below a meter or whatever accuracy I want. This next setting, point vertex auto pause count, is when you're logging data, when you open a file for yourself, when you're logging data, you can set it in this menu so it can log as many points as you want. You can set this up, type in points. Let's say for example I'm going to put in there 30 points. So this means it's going to log 30 positions. It's going to take 30 seconds because it logs a position per second. 1 second, 1 position or measurement. So it's going to log up to 30 measures and then pause itself. But it doesn't mean it's only going to take 30 measurements. You can, if you want, you can still say resume and it will carry on with that. So this is just like a default setting you can activate in the settings here. Antenna height is the distance from your unit to the ground, more or less how are you gonna have it in your hand while you taking measurements. So more or less 1.3 meters I think is fine. Also, if you click on here confirm, it will ask you per file. If you close it, it will ask you to confirm if you really want to close it, or you can put it on per feature or never ask you. I'm just going to say per file. Then also the type, this is your antenna type. So whatever unit you're using is the one that if you're using a Geo Explorer, you must select this on Geo Explorer internal, or Nomad, you select Nomad internal. But this is the Juno that I'm using, so it's Juno internal. Okay. There's nothing you need to do under the part number. Then I'm say done. Let me go down. Then allow positions update. You can leave it on yes, or you can put it on confirm. So it will ask you if you want to update the positions. Then also confirm end feature. I'm going to say yes. So after you've taken your positions, you can, before you close it, it will ask you to confirm. This file name prefix, so it will add anything you type in here. At the moment, if you leave it like this, R, it will have R and then the date and the time that it will put in for you automatically before you open a file. But you don't have to use that. You can delete it and you can put in any file name that you want. I'll show you when we open a file. Also with waypoints files, the same story. Okay, and then the type between feature logging, you can switch this on. What this means is if you measure a feature in the field and you close that feature and then you walk to the next point that you want to take, it will log however you tell it to log, every 1 second or every 5 seconds. It will still take a point. They call it breadcrumbs. So you can see when you download your data, all the little points between the features that you've taken. So you can switch this on or off. It depends on you. I'm going to take it off. And then that's it for this logging settings. And you say done. Now also, okay, in GNSS settings or GPS settings, like on some older devices, this is only where you can choose your port that you're using. This is the port for the internal GPS, of your device. If this is on a different port or not on the correct port, then it won't connect to your GPS here, unless you have an external device that you're using. Then you have to go and select the device that you're using, a serial cable or Bluetooth but in this case we're just using the internal. So by default it should be on the correct port. You shouldn't have to go and change anything here unless you're using an external device. This is where you'll come and change it. So you make sure it connects to external device and not your internal. But in this case we're using the internal GPS, so you want it to connect to the internal, and then we say done. Real-time settings is if you're using devices like a Pro XRT that you get OmniStar corrections, you'll go in here and you'll change your real-time settings, set it up so you can get a real-time correction in the field. But we're not getting it with our little handout Juno here. So I'm not going to go into your real-time settings. What we're going to do is we're going to go collect features in the field and then come back, download it, and then process it. For real-time, you get the real-time correction immediately in the field. Coordinate systems. This is where you can come and change your coordinate systems the way that you want. If you're using latitude, longitude, or you just click on this little arrow, you can go down to South Africa. Let me find it here. You can change it to South Africa, choose your zone that you're using, and your altitude reference, if it's ellipsoidal height or the height above mean sea level, and your altitude units, meters. You can change this any way that you want. Okay, also your geoid, there's a geoid model for you already in here, and your coordinate units if you want to see it in meters or any of the other options. Meters is the most common. And your coordinate display order, if you want to see your north coordinate first or your east coordinate first. This is all the settings that your coordinate system that you can change the way you want. If, for instance, you leave it on latitude and longitude, or you put it on the South African system, it doesn't matter if you capture your data using this coordinate system and then you realize, oh, but you wanted it in a different system. Because you can always, when you download your data in Pathfinder Office, you can always change the coordinate system there as well. And it will change your coordinates to the system that you want. So it doesn't matter if you choose something different here and then afterwards realized that you didn't want it in that system or coordinate system. So you can change it afterwards in Pathfinder Office. Okay, so that's it for your coordinate systems. I'm just going to say done, or let me change it back to latitude, longitude as it was, just to show you that you can change it. Put it on north first again, and then I say done. Units, this is where you'll change how do you want your units to be displayed. So your distance units, in South Africa we like to see meters and square meters. By default all this will be set up for you, but you can go and change this if you want. And then you say done. And that's it for all your settings. So like I said, you're never going to have to go and change this, or you don't have to change this every day or go through it every day. This will stay the same as you've changed it just now. So unless you want to go and change something, then you go into setup. This button here, the GNSS button, or on some devices it will show, some of the older devices will show GPS. This is just to connect to your internal GPS receiver. So if I click on this button, it will ask me, are you sure you want to disconnect from the receiver? I'm just going to say yes. So I just want to show you, if you open Terrasync and you don't see your little satellite icon there on the top, go to setup, make sure you go to setup and you go and click on the GPS or GNSS button, and you'll see there it goes, that little two plugs, and then it connects, and you see a little satellite icon and the number of satellites you're tracking. So I'll show you, if you click on status, there's the satellites. You can see it on the sky plot little map, what it looks like. This is the satellites I'm tracking at the moment.